Okay, so we're talking about the second presentation. So it just a little bit different the prompt is this time from the first, but let's look back here and don't overthink this really. We know we stopped the first presentation here, and so we're going to do mostly the same thing with 7, module 7, 8, and 9. So we want to find a subject really from these. And so this gets into the second presentation stuff. The prompt is here that I'm about to go over, and you're just going to have to upload a JSTOR article and a film citation along the way. So if I go to the actual second presentation. So, okay, so pick one person or work that is from the material. We're going to look at the material in just a second. So that's related to the modules we covered. So you have a lot of possibilities. It's not just think the historical time periods. For your audience, someone who's not in this course. So that tells you about what you can relate to the person, because it would be different. Remember, if you were relating it to me, because I already know a lot of this stuff anyway. So it gives you the opportunity to rehash it, especially with context. So my example here, so this time we don't cover Eleanor of Aquitaine, but she's very interesting. This is the mother, by the way, of King Richard. Right? And they had a very interesting life, got divorced, remarried, ended up getting imprisoned by one of her sons. It's just a very extraordinary life. And same thing on the other side of the world is Genghis Khan. So we didn't cover, I may have mentioned him, but we didn't cover him. Had the largest land empire ever, was extremely intelligent in the way he would go about attacking. Very patient. A lot of brutality. We know this from the time period. But anyway, if you're interested, this gives you the opportunity, all these presentations do, to research something you want to a little bit more. Okay, so the main thing is just don't read. Don't create a document and then just sit there and read it. The idea is for you to look people in the eyes. So here, you're for your camera. It's okay if you glance down, especially if you're just quoting a couple pieces of evidence, as you're going to do this time. So a little bit of glancing down or looking at a note is okay, but not the whole presentation. So this time you want to include 2 quotes that support or back up something that you said. So you can get that from the article or from your film or from our textbook if you prefer. I recommend a dictionary app so you don't mispronounce words and terms. And you got to use the McGraw-Hill Go React link to record your presentation. Make sure that your camera is on. Okay, so this time a little bit different, and then so everything else is the same here, except I switched this up a little bit. Try to focus on the values. So you were doing this sort of before, but now I'm just explicitly using putting the word values in here. This is one of our outcomes in the course. You kind of got to do it anyway, but just to make it a little clearer, I guess. So if the Romans, so we're not doing the Romans now, but if the Christendom, if they valued this when you're creating Gothic cathedral, I just say that, point that out. And that's how this person or this cathedral in that case is expressing the values. Okay. And I'm going to change this, but we're not doing Plato this time because that would have been the first time, but I'll change this by the time you see it and give a second presentation topic. All right, so let's go to the actual reading. So remember, I'm just pulling these parts of these from the reading, but if you wanted to, you can go back and look at our book. So I'm just going to go to the handy whole book link at the top. And if we go in here, I'm going to start with our humanities book. And this was just a convenience, right? They just put the Civ book at the top. Easily could have just been this humanities book at the top as well. And so remember, we stopped with the Romans last time. So we picked up this time. We covered, I think, Christianity. Out of this chapter, you can cover all of this. If you do Jesus is if you're trying not to have it a personal testimony, try to use stuff from the article and relate the context of the time period, for example. Or same thing with any of the religious figures. Okay, synthesis we covered here, and then Christendom. So we're heavily Western, so Civ focused for this course, and again, there's so little time, and so I'm covering what seems to would matter to most of you, but not all of you in the course. So it's always got to leave something out. Okay, so these 3 chapters from humanities, but now let's go back and let's remember that we quit and here through the first presentation was chapter 11. So now you can remember that we did these, Silk Network. I skipped over the Han Dynasty and some of this other stuff. Chapter 13. For this, easy. A couple easy topics in here, right? That's why I skipped this altogether. Indian. Okay, so now we're into the early medieval period. So all the way through chapter 17 would work if you found a topic in here. All right. And so you have just pick something very specific, but you have a lot of options, and so sometimes picking a subject is the hardest part. Message me if you have a question.